Hey, what's going on? My name is Sauer with ballersonbudgets.com, and what we're going to cook for you today is Saltine Cracker Porkchops. What we have here is 4 pork chops, 2 eggs, our spices consisting mainly of salt, garlic salt, and pepper. We're going to spice things up a little bit and add some jalapenos seasoning, but if you don't have that, some red pepper or anything else with a little spice will be great. The other main ingredient, saltine crackers. Alright, step 1. We're going to prepare the saltine cracker seasoning bowl. I have here a half a pack of saltine crackers. Depending on how thick your pork chops are, you might add a little bit more crackers, a little bit less. Key here is to make sure you crunch them up pretty good, because the bigger pieces of saltine crackers do not stick to the pork chop. You can lay them on top, but you definitely want to get some good crunched up saltine crackers. So we're going to go ahead and crunch these up, pour it into the bowl here. Now, of course, I've washed my hands. Hygiene is definitely a good thing when you're handling food. You got the salt, pepper, and garlic salt. Definitely want to add a pretty good portion of this because not all of it actually sticks on the pork chop. I prefer to grind my pepper, keeps it a little bit fresher, and it's not too much more in price difference. Of course, the garlic salt. And you know, based on your taste is the amount of seasoning you want. But we're going to kick things up tonight and go with a jalapeno mix. Just adds a little extra zing to it that I like. Mix it all up good and make sure it's thorough, even. And there you have it. That's all you need for step 1. Alright, next step, you're going to crack the 2 eggs into a bowl. Mix it together, and that is going to be your first part of the pork chop mixture. Take your pork chop here, dip it into the egg mix, make sure it's good and covered, and then transfer it to your saltine cracker bowl. And mix that together as good as possible, and go ahead and plop it on the baking sheet and sprinkle some more on top. Like I said, these saltine crackers don't stick to it as good as maybe breadcrumbs as you're used to, but believe me, it tastes just as good. Alright, now I already preheated the oven to 400 degrees, and went ahead and put the chops in there once it reached that temperature. Now I'm going to set the timer to 20 minutes. Since I have thick chops, it's going to take a little while. And in 20 minutes, I might check it probably at 10, but at 20 minutes my alarm will go off and make sure that I just take a gander at it. It should take about 30 to 40 minutes, unless you have really thin chops. But that's the time to look for. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and cook the sides. I got some macaroni and cheese shells and some cut green beans. 2 very cheap items. Now I did go with the Velveeta. I kind of am a sucker for the macaroni and cheese, so I spent like the extra $1 or something like that. But this meal is well under $10. And I even have a little surprise for you. You don't have to do this, but if you wanted to add a little extra, you know, cuisine fanciness to your meal, I got the balsamic vinegar and I got some sugar. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a balsamic vinegar reduction sauce. So what I'm going to do is I have about, it's not quite full, I have used this in the past, but it's about 150 milliliters of balsamic vinegar. What you're trying to do is reduce it to about half. So you put it on high heat, get your pot here. High heat to start off. Once it starts boiling, lower it to medium or less. This is a very key point. Make sure you whisk it. Alright, well, our balsamic vinegar reduction sauce is about complete. Kept it, as soon as we put it in there, we turned it down to it's about 3 or 4 heat after it was boiling. Made sure to whisk it thoroughly, just to make sure, because it burns fairly easily. So you definitely want to make sure about that. But it's been on there about 30 minutes. We got it to about half of the reduction, about half the amount that it used to be. Put in a tablespoon or 2 of sugar, and even put a little bit of butter in there, just add a little twist. Now this sauce actually goes great on chicken, steak. It really just sets off a lot of different things, and a lot of those fancy chefs out there actually use a balsamic vinegar reduction sauce with their meals. As you can see, we already got our sides plated. So now it's just time for the meat. Alright. And over here, we have our pork chops. That bad boy right there. There you have it, folks. Saltine Cracker Porkchops with a Balsamic Vinegar Reduction Sauce with our two sides, under $10. Pretty much anywhere in the US and probably around the world. Check out our site, ballersonbudgets.com. My name is Sauer. Thanks for tuning in. Check us out.